Good evening. The House of Representatives plans to release the arrest order against alleged sex offender Apollo Quiboloy next week. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco says the arrest order will be released by Monday, March 18 or Tuesday, March 19. According to Velasco, a quote, pleasant experience awaits Quiboloy as their rooms are air-conditioned and are accessible to relatives of those in detention.
We promise them a pleasant experience. These rooms are air-conditioned, accessible to the relatives of the person in detention, and to the media whenever necessary. You can monitor their stay, and hopefully they will enjoy their stay here.
On March 12, a House panel cited Quiboloy for contempt after the pastor still refused to attend the lower chamber's Committee on Legislative Franchises hearing regarding the Sunshine Media Network International. Quiboloy's legal counsel, Ferdinand Topacio, had claimed that they already provided enough legal justification for the pastor's absence, saying the pastor was not the best person to answer questions about SMNI's ownership. Meanwhile, the Senate has issued a show-cause order against Quiboloy to explain why he should not be arrested and detained after failing to attend the hearings on his alleged crimes. On March 5, the Senate issued a show-cause order against Quiboloy instead of an arrest warrant. The controversial resort located within the scenic Chocolate Hills protected area in Bohol province is temporarily closed until further notice. Captain's Peak Garden and Resort's announcement of its interim shutdown follows a public uproar questioning the operation of a commercial hideaway among the world-class famous Chocolate Hills. This also comes after the Department of Environment and Natural Resources said it had already issued a temporary closure order on September 6, 2023, and a notice of violation on January 22, 2024 against the vacation place. The DENR said Captain's Peak Garden and Resort was operating without an environment compliance certificate. In 1997, then President Fidel Ramos issued Presidential Decree No. 1037 declaring the Chocolate Hills as a natural monument, ensuring its protection. Captain's Peak manager Julieta Sablas earlier said her brother bought the land in 2005 from a certain Amores family that owned the land prior to the 1997 proclamation. Sablas added they received approval from the DENR's Protected Area Management Board to build the resort in 2018. The DENR says it is already in talks with its regional operations team in Bohol regarding the matter. Meanwhile, Deputy Majority Leader for Communications Erwin Tulfo says the House of Representatives is set to conduct its own investigation on the resort's operation. According to Tulfo, he has already coordinated this with House Speaker Martin Romualdez. President Bongbong Marcos says he finds former President Rodrigo Duterte's statements to be inconsistent after his predecessor claimed the push for charter change is meant for the incumbent president's term extension. During a prayer rally in Liwasang, Bonifacio, former President Duterte claimed that President Marcos is allegedly using Chacha as an excuse to extend his term as president. Duterte likewise compared Marcos Jr. to his father, former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. The 1973 Constitution was promulgated shortly after Marcos Sr.'s declaration of martial law. The transitory provisions of this Constitution enabled Marcos Sr. to have another term extension as president. Now, Congress is discussing amendments to specific economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution, which was crafted after the EDSA revolution overthrew Marcos Sr. When asked about Duterte's criticisms against him, Marcos Jr. says he was confused by his predecessor's remarks. According to Marcos, he will first try to make sense of Duterte's statements, which he deemed inconsistent. The two injured Filipino crewmen of ill-fated MV True Confidence are now back in the Philippines. The Department of Migrant Workers says the two Filipino seafarers suffered serious injuries when True Confidence was struck by a Houthi-launched missile on March 6. The Filipino seafarers, however, were declared fit for travel on Wednesday, March 13. According to DMW, the two Filipinos who were injured arrived at 6:45 a.m. on Thursday, March 14. The agency says the two seafarers were taken to hospital where they will continue their recovery. They have also reunited with their families at the hospital. The missile attack launched by Houthi rebels killed 2 Filipinos on board through confidence. DMW earlier said that salvaging operations are underway to retrieve their remains. Former First Lady Imelda Marcos has been discharged from the hospital after being confined due to pneumonia. Her daughter, Senator Amy Marcos, says the former First Lady was discharged on Wednesday, March 13. The senator says her mother just needs to rest at home and take oral medications. On March 5, Senator Amy confirmed the 94-year-old Marcos matriarch was confined for mild pneumonia. Former rebels who are seeking amnesty are most welcome to join the Philippine Army. This is according to Philippine Army spokesperson Colonel Louis de Maala. Commissioner Jamar Culayan of the National Amnesty Commission earlier revealed that around 80,000 rebels are eligible to avail of the government reprieve. According to De Maala, the ex-insurgents are welcome to join the Philippine Army if joining their ranks could help the former rebels transition. This as long as the former rebels satisfy the basic requirement of the Philippine Army and pass the vetting process. On Wednesday, March 13, the Senate adopted the resolution that concurs with Presidential Proclamation number 404. The proclamation seeks to grant amnesty to former members of the New People's Army, Revolusyonaryong Partido ng Manggagawa ng Pilipinas, Revolutionary Proletarian Army, Alex Bongcayaw Brigade, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the Moro National Liberation Front. The Commission on Elections is considering establishing voting precincts at malls nationwide for the upcoming 2025 national and local elections. Traditionally, registered voters cast their ballots at precincts in public elementary schools. Instead of crowding in schools, Comelec Chair George Garcia suggests using other public places within a barangay such as malls.
May iba namang public places sa isang barangay, gamitin natin yung public places na halimbawa isang katulad nito. 3 lang ang presinto sa barangay na yan. Bakit hindi natin gamitin yung mga ganitong lugar sa isang barangay? Kesa po nagsisiksikan tayo sa elementary school.
However, Garcia explains the poll body is still in the process of ironing out the details of the proposed mall voting for 2025's polls, and the proposal would still have to undergo a consultation process among registered voters. The consultation on mall voting will start at the end of the voters' registration on September 30. According to Garcia, the Commission will not automatically designate malls as voting venues. They will still take into account the preferences of residents in barangays regarding where they would like to cast their votes.
Sa mga botohan, lagi po ang haba ng pila. Mga naka-wheelchair, nakatungkod, ang mga nakatatanda, minsan hindi mo malaman kung saan sila uupo habang naghihintay, habang hinahanap ang mga pangalan nila sa listahan. Kaawa-awa po, kaya nga sana pumayag sila na sa malls natin gawin ang kanila pong pagboto. Hindi naman namin ililipat yung mga kababayan natin na nasa mga bundok para pumunta sa mall. Hindi po natin gagawin yon. Kung nasaan yung mga barangays nila, doon po natin dadalahin ang ating po mga botohan.
Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Resort within Chocolate Hills now temporarily closed until further notice. Arrest order against alleged sex offender Apollo Quiboloy out next week, according to the House of Representatives Secretary General. And former First Lady Imelda Marcos discharged from hospital after being confined due to pneumonia. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.